Sarah Carr here with the Limerick Post Show, and I am joined today by Jill Cousins, who is the director of the Hunt Museum. How are you keeping?
Very well, thank you. And yourself?
Great, thanks. So we're here today to talk about the new Museum in a Garden, which is a fantastic new project by the Hunt Museum. Do you want to tell us a bit about how it all came about and where the idea came from?
Yeah, well, I think the original idea was to take the railings down, and that was by John Moran quite a while ago, actually. And I thought, okay, nice to take the railings down, but I would like to do something. So one of the issues you get with museums is lots of people don't come inside because they don't think it's for them. So the idea at the very beginning was to put these large versions of objects that are in the museum into the garden. So that's where the concept of a museum in a garden came from. And then when we started that, we thought, well, okay, take the railings down, and we re-landscape that whole area so that it becomes a space in the public realm for the people of Limerick and tourists visiting, and we put those sculptures in.
Yeah, it's a fantastic idea. And I think as well, we've seen over the past year just how much people have been using these open spaces. And so I think it's going to be such a fantastic addition to have that open space that's been so well planned and that's so like creative as well.
Very much so. I think it's we've got, as well as the sculptures, there are seating areas around them and throughout the garden. And in fact, we had a post interview about a year ago, maybe then, I can't remember, when we were doing the Fund a Cobble fundraising for it. So that was where people were actually contributing their cobbles, what they wanted on those cobbles. They will line the central path. They also funded benches, plants and cobbles, planters. All of that will be in the garden as we go forward, along with a community garden, which is going to be the Sean Moran community garden going forward. And the idea is very much that it is for everybody. It's no longer, there's no barriers between the public and their garden.
Yeah, it's a lovely idea, like what you're saying about community and stuff, because I know that a lot of local communities and groups like, Team Limerick Cleanup and the Limerick Mental Health Association have all been involved. So it really has that feeling of being a project, for the community that was done by the community.
Very much so, and continues to be the case. So we will, as well as that, we will also be holding events there over the summer. Anybody who wants to do something outside, they're very welcome. But for instance, we'll be doing, as part of the Wild Geese Festival, we will have I think it's on the Saturday of the Wild Geese Festival, we're going to have a boule competition or a pétanque, depending on what part of France you come from. But there is a big chess set, outdoor garden chess set, that's going into just by the cafe, and we hope to have other games around for people to play in that space over the summer.
That's amazing. So you have the cobblestones, the chess sets. Do you want to talk us a bit through some other features that you have planned for the garden?
What else we got? I'm really to hold events there. So we will have jazz there. We will do the launch of the garden itself. I think at the moment we're scheduling that for the 1st of July. We are. The cafe will be open and people will be able to take their sort of food and drink out there. We're looking at things like a chess tournament, so that you can use the big chess set itself, but you can also have a series of smaller ones out there. I mean, really, as much music as we can put in. So whatever people come up with, we would like to put in place. There's also a very cool what it's called, which is not so clever. It's a kind of mobile theatre, so they'll do King Lear in your garden, and we're looking at maybe able to put that kind of thing in as well.
Amazing. And do you have any performers lined up? Do you know who you'll be getting in to do these performances?
That's a creative island. They go around and create the performances themselves, so we don't have to find which is fantastic. We don't have to find the performers; they come in and do it for you. So that's very much the idea. Yeah.
Yeah, well, Limerick is full of performers anyway. I don't think you'd be short of hand trying to find anyone to perform for you.
Yeah. And really, the more the space is used, the better. So as long as we can schedule it in, we'll schedule it in. So if people want to go and do things, then please let us know.
Fantastic. So I suppose also we should talk about the news competition that you guys are running for the tree stump. Do you want to talk through that a bit?
Yeah. So very unfortunately, when we decided to set up the museum in the garden and the landscaping for it, and we started to really think about what work needed to be done, I thought, oh, maybe I should just check all the trees are okay, because, you know, we're going to be playing around underneath them and all the rest of it. And the OPW did a survey, which we then got verified twice by 2 independent surveys. And discovered that one of the trees was badly damaged, or diseased actually, and in danger of coming down. So that was a chestnut, pink chestnut. It was a really beautiful tree, but it had these burrs on them, so it was actually diseased all the way through. So from a health and safety point of view, we had no option but to chop it down. And we asked the public what they wanted to do with that. Did they want to turn it into a wildlife sanctuary, or did they want to turn it into a sculpture? And I can't remember what the third thing was now, or take it away completely. We didn't want to take it away completely because the root structure remains really important for the viability of the whole area. And fortunately the public plumped on us doing a tree sculpture, so we've launched that competition. Entries are until May the 28th. It will have an external set of judges for it. We'd like it to have some link to an object in the museum, but it really is however big your imagination is in order to do it. And there is a cash prize of up to €4,000, which comes from any work that we do, capital work we do. We have to put a certain amount into artworks. So we're actually using the bit that we did a couple of years ago on the building in order to make this happen.
That's amazing. And so is the project to be completed over the summer then, the tree stump?
That would be brilliant. So we'd like to award it when we launch the garden, so have the artists there, and then we'd love them to be starting and actually doing it over the summer. So there's also something going on, a bit like, I mean, there was one up at the model school actually relatively recently, but they also did it in St Mary's Cathedral. If you remember last summer, somebody was making a sculpture up there. So that kind of thing would be great.
Oh, it's such a nice idea to just reuse what you have around you in nature and to get the community involved. I think it's going to end up being a really nice project.
It's we've got the planting in, the seeding for the lawns went in, the wild turf sections have been grown elsewhere, and they will be going in. So this is wildflower planting. They will actually be going in, I think, last week of mid to last week of June. So that, together with all of the hardcore, which I think is now in, and good weather for the plants to grow, we'll have something very fantastic, I think, by sort of towards the end of June, and certainly it'll be open from the 1st of June.
Perfect. So before I leave you go, where can people find updates on the project, how it's going, or the Hunt Museum?
Yeah, it's on the website. There's quite a big banner on the tree sculpture side of it, but the whole museum in the garden has its own project section on the website, and we put stuff out on social media.
Perfect.
We use you lot as well. That's fantastic. Thank you.
Use what you can get. Well, yeah. Thanks so much for coming on and chatting. I'm very excited to see the project, and I'm pretty sure everyone else will be too.
Well, thank you, Sarah. Thank you very much for your time.